We will be starting shortly. Give me just a minute to make sure everything is working. We'll be good to begin. Gotta rename that. There we go. Let's see. Been a while since I had to shake out the cobwebs of the sumo streams. Let's make sure everything works. Here. Perfect. Let's get rid of the... Well, we can keep the text and the... Let's get rid of that for now, because that'll be a little bit in the way. And let's get rid of that for now, because it'll be in the way. And welcome everybody to day 0. We have 3 subscriptions over on Twitch. Thank you, Benish, Circumzenithal, and Princess. And the first thing I wanted to do was go over my Guess the Banzuke, which is, I'm notoriously bad at the Guess the Banzuke, but this time, I straight up forgot to submit it. So if you go looking for Leo Dickinson on the Guess the Banzuke results, well, I'm not there. And it's not because I got last place 0 points. No, it's because I'm stupid and thought we had until the Friday before to submit. But, yeah, so I'm just a little stupid. So, I love you, Princess. So, we're going to count up the points and see where I may have landed anyway. I already counted all of the bullseyes, and, we do have a couple that were off, like Asanoyama, Abi. I thought Asanoyama might have leapfrogged Abi, but, they disagreed with me on that one. So we still get, a little bit of a point for that. I predicted you lower, Asanoyama higher. And then down in the middle here is where everything goes completely wrong. And I'm kind of glad because a lot of the promotions and demotions feel right anyway. Like, I had Oho going down 2.5 ranks after, a 6 and 9, whereas he only went down 2 here. I like that. Kotoeko, you remember how I said I don't want to over promote Kotoeko, but if everything else falls the way I had it, then Kotoeko gets screwed by being put at Maegashira 10, but he's actually at Maegashira 8. So, these are things that, screwed me on the points, but they're things that, were not bad. I like this Banzuke. I get another half of a point for, no, not a half of a point for Onosho. What am I saying? I predicted him a full rank and a half lower. Ryuden, I actually get a 1 point for because I predicted him to be on the other side of M6. And then, this is where, like, Endo, I thought he was going to go way up, but it turns out they put him at a reasonable spot. 10 and 5 from Maegashira 16 up to Maegashira 10. Like, that is very, very reasonable. And I did predict him a lot higher, that kind of thing. And thank you, Slave Knight, for the Macho Man. Ooh. So, yeah, there is a lot that went wrong with my guesses. So I feel like I have to redo my thought process for it probably and be a little bit more strict on the like +5, -5, that kind of thing. Because let's see, who else do we have here? Takayasu, I missed him by a full rank. I predicted him lower. Oho, I predicted him a lot lower. You know, Hirado Umi, I predicted him a lot lower, down to Maegashira 12, but he only fell 3 ranks. Jeez, man, I wanted to kill this guy. Holy crap. So, like, I was definitely way wrong about where these guys were going to be put. Let's see, Terunofuji and Hakuoho. I predicted them. Let's see, where did I predicted Terunofuji a half of a rank higher, so maybe if I got him anchored in, that would have been nice. But Hakuoho, I actually had going. Where even is he? Where did I write his name down? Yeah, Maegashira 7, so I missed him by a couple. I predicted him a lot higher. Keen Bozan, I predicted him 1 rank lower, so some of these were close, some of these were way off. Like Mitake Yumi, I thought he was going to fall to... I didn't think he was going to fall to double digits at first, but, there he is at Maegashira 11. Hokuseiho, I only missed by 1 rank too, so I predicted him a bit lower. Thank you, Killy Dude, for your subscription as well. Welcome back, everybody, to the Sumo again. I know we're starting with a boring chart right here, but, such is life under the great Shogun. Takeda Fuji, I predicted him to move up much higher. He did not. Same thing with Aoyama. I thought Aoyama got a little screwed on this, but again, moving up to Maegashira 14 after a 9 and 6 from Maegashira 17, that's a very appropriate spot to put him in. A +3, Sadano Umi, I missed him by 1 rank. Nishiki Fuji, I missed him by a half of a rank. But because it's Maegashira 13 West to Maegashira 14 East, I don't actually get a point for that. So that sucks. And then, funnily enough, Atami Fuji and Chiyoshoma do occupy Maegashira 15, but I got them on the wrong side again. So Atami Fuji and Chiyoshoma, I got, those. So if we want to calculate this real quick, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, and then 1 point for Abi and Asanoyama, so 35, 36, 37 for Ryuden, and we have to go all the way down, 38, 39 from Yogiryu, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, so like 49 points there. Let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So 22 bullseyes. That's 2 points each. And then the regular hits were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For a total score of 44, 49. Yeah, so I did math that correctly. Cool. So if we wanted to go to where people scored 49 points, that would be starting right around here. Basically just under 500. Like, I'm very middle of the bell curve with my guesses. And, to get, well, if I had submitted, it wouldn't have been much better than some of my other guesses, But, to be a 7 and 8 after having such terrible scores, and to be, like, ranked, 107 out of 202 entrants. And that's the other thing, too. This was a record number of entrants for the Guess the Banzuke, which, again, I forgot to put in. So, it's really cool that sumo is growing like this. Like, we have more people playing Guess the Banzuke. We have more people playing Kachi Clash, which we will go over the Kachi Clash in just a second. But, yeah, I think this is really cool. But yeah, as far as my predictions for how all of this will go, well, we'll wait for the Kachi Clash in just a second. For those of you watching on YouTube, I will be, let's pause this. I will be watching these other YouTube videos from the Sumo Kyokai channel. There weren't any training videos, strangely enough, because usually between Basho, they'll post training videos from the sumo stables, but, there were a lot of interviews, there were a lot of retirements, so no new training videos, but we will get to see how they make the cookies that they sell in the Kokugikan. Thank you for your Prime subscription as well, not Kool-Aider. We are indeed so back. So over on the Kachi Clash, which if you guys want to play too, here is a link to that in the chat. It's basically fantasy sumo. It's not too hard to understand. But basically, there are different tiers of sumo wrestlers that you have to select from, and you have to make sure to choose who you think is going to get the most points in each section, which thankfully now we'll actually have some parity up at the very top now that we have three freaking Ozekis and a Yokozuna, although the Yokozuna is out for injury, which we will go over the news for that as well. So this is my stream ideas stuff. So for the upcoming Basho, all of the injury news that I have on hand include Enho is still out for his back and neck injury. He will fall to the 4th division, and no idea if he's going to be able to fight his way back. I hope he can, but he is small. I don't really know what to expect from him. The other thing is Wakataka Kage is still going to be out as well, recovering from his surgery. I don't know when he's going to be coming back, but he will be falling to the 3rd division. Then Hakuoho is already marked off here. He will be, or rather, he already got shoulder surgery because we were explaining how during the previous tournament, a lot of people were asking, why is his shoulder taped up? Is he hurt? And it was to prevent an old injury. But Hakuho, his stable master, Miyagino Oyakata, basically thought, well, we should nip this in the bud before anything worsens it. So he's going to be recovering from that shoulder surgery for at least this Basho. Very unlikely he makes it back for November, so he may return in the 3rd division in January of 2024. Terunofuji, I think this is his 3rd or 4th Basho he'll be missing. Let me double check. Yeah, he missed 3 straight to start the year, and then he's missing 1 this time, which, to be fair, he bowed out due to injury at the last one. Still recovering with his back issues. Said it's going to be a month to recover, so hopefully we see him for November, and he attends, 2 tournaments this year. Yokozuna cannot be demoted for missing too many tournaments, but he will be asked politely yet firmly to retire. And if he refuses, he will then be asked very firmly to retire. Sad that he has to sit out for surgery, but it is the right choice. Yeah, definitely. And yeah, you're not wrong. With his strength, he'll be able to make it back pretty easily, I think. As long as he wins 1 Basho per year, he won't be pressed to quit. Yeah, I think they're being lenient with him too, because, he took off these 3 Basho to start the year, recovering from those knee surgeries, and then he immediately comes back with a 14-1. And then even before the previous Basho started back in July, there were reports of him having tweaked his back, and then, he bows out because he is hurt. So hopefully he'll come back in November, put up another 14-1. And I think this is really good anyway. Like, I love Terunofuji, don't get me wrong, but I think this will be the best thing for sumo because we have 3 hungry Ozeki. Takakeisho, he's Kadoban, but we've seen this story before. He's like 5 for 5 when it comes to recovering from Kadoban. And he even won the January Yusho this year. So that was pretty cool. And even though he got injured, I mean, look at that. 12-3 playoff loss, 12-3 Yusho, and then injured. So, like, that's really unfortunate. But he's showing, he can still pressure. Like, that's a playoff loss. And that was the 3-way playoff against Abi and Takayasu, which he didn't get to fight Takayasu because Abi henked him. And then Abi just won against Takakeisho. But anyway, like this is a statistic that I discovered just while I was doing my general looking at the Banzuke. But each of the past 4 Yusho winners are either current Yokozuna and Ozeki or got promoted to Ozeki. Because it started with Takakeisho in January, then it was Kirishima in March, then it was Terunofuji in May, then it was, Hoshoryu in July. So all 4 of the Yusho winners are currently the top 4 guys on the Banzuke. And with Terunofuji out, that means we have 3 guys that could, like, the past 3 Yusho winners, or 3 of the past 4 Yusho winners, are all competing to become Yokozuna themselves. And that's awesome, I think. It is a shame Daieisho missed out. It is a shame Wakamoto Haru missed out. But without Terunofuji being there, I think that makes this tournament even more exciting, because Kirishima, Takakeisho, Hoshoryu, all for the title. Like, it's gonna be good. It should be good. If Takakeisho can stay healthy, which normally he does stay healthy during tournaments where he might fall to Sekiwake, because, like, the last time he fell to Sekiwake was in September 2019, which is when I started watching sumo, basically. And, since then, he's been in an Ozeki the entire time, Kiributiyama. But yeah, the Sanyaku is very powerful this year, and that's why it's going to make this Kachi Clash pick so difficult, because our 3 guys we can pick up at the top here, Yokozuna's out, Ozeki 2, all of them could potentially take it. I'm not actually picking Daieisho here, I'm picking Tobizaru. But all of these guys could potentially take it. All of them are probably favorites. And honestly, I don't think you can go wrong if you pick any of these 3. I don't favor Takakeisho personally because of that inconsistency, but I do think he will be fine for this Basho. Probably going to do better than an 8-7, I want to believe. But, the last time he went Kadoban, aka 2 tournaments ago, earlier this year, is any indication, I'm not too faithful in Takakeisho. That's exactly why he's going to get a 14-1, you feel me? On the other side, Hoshoryu, fresh off of a win, might carry that momentum through. Kirishima, on the other hand, he's been doing fantastic for himself, except for the last Basho where he started off injured, and even then, he dropped those last 3 matches. So now he's Kadoban as well, which I should probably write that down, because I didn't even consider that. But Kirishima's Kadoban in his second tournament as Ozeki, kind of like Mitakeumi a little bit. But I believe Kirishima will be fine, because not even counting this 6-7-2, there is a statistic right now where the top winners of the year, right? Because there is an award at the end of the year for the person who has the most wins in the top division. Right now, that is tied between Hoshoryu and Daieisho at 41 and Kirishima at 40. Imagine if he didn't get injured at the last Basho. He'd be ahead by like 5 wins. He has been having the year of his career right now. Kirishima's on fire, save for this trip up, this injury he had to start the last tournament. So, like, personally, you could coin flip Kirishima or Hoshoryu here, and you can't go wrong. Me personally, knowing that Kirishima fights Tobizaru on day 1, that's a point he's gonna lose, and so I'm gonna go with Hoshoryu. I almost fell into like a WWE thing there. He's gonna drop that match against Tobizaru. But we do have the Torikumi to start as well. That's day 2. day 1. Here we go. We could talk a little bit about this. So Kirishima, Tobizaru. Tobizaru has the advantage. Hokuto Fuji, Takakeisho. Pretty even. Abi, Hol Shoryu. Very lopsided for Hol Shoryu. Daieisho, Meisei. Very lopsided for Daieisho. Sanoyama, Wakamoto Haru. Should be good. Kotonowaka, Shodai. Should be good. Nishikigi, he's on the charts, but he tore a calf muscle. So, is he actually going to be competing? Font is a tad small. You mean, oh, yeah, let me zoom in a bit. Here we go. And thank you, What's Up, for your subscription. But, like, is Nishikigi actually going to be competing? He tore a calf muscle. I thought he was. Or I thought he wasn't. I might have to take that out of the sumo text along the bottom of the screen then. But, I don't know. Anyway, Takanosho coming back up to Maegashira 4. I'm happy about that. Versus Ura. Gonoyama versus Shonan no Umi. Onosho versus Ryuden. Dead even, 5-all. Takayasu versus Oho. Kotoeko versus Hirado Umi. Very lopsided for Hirado Umi. Midori Fuji Kinbozan. Mitakeumi Endo. Mitakeumi, his lowest point on the Banzuke since he first climbed up the ranks. Takeda Fuji Hokuseiho. Takeda Fuji owning Hokuseiho 2-0 so far. Nishiki Fuji versus Sadano Umi. Oh, rivalry match. Aoyama Myogiryu. Then Atami Fuji Koto Shoho. Tsurugisho Chiyo Shoma. Kageaki Dai Shoho. We also have the Judio chart as well. Kiho will be fighting. Kiho is back from that foot injury. And there is a lot of news with the lower Judio guys we'll get into a little bit later. But I did want to keep talking about the Kachi Clash though. So this next part, Daieisho, Wakamoto Haru, Kotonowaka, Nishikigi, and Tobizaru. Do you think Ura's peaked at M4? I don't think he has a strength against the top guys. I do believe this is Ura's peak. If he, gets a winning record here, then he just gets smacked back down. So I think Ura is most comfortable at this spot, kind of like the gatekeeper to the Sanyaku, but he doesn't actually have to fight the Sanyaku himself. I think that's a very comfortable position for him to be in, so I think it's fine. Yeah, he did peak at M1, but, I don't think he'll go higher than that, and if he does, it would be a fluke. I have to say, Kiho. Shishi has a good tournament. Will we see him in the top division? That's a good question. Shishi is Judio 8, so he would have to have a very good tournament, probably, 13-2, 14-1 territory. I feel like he'll probably make it up for 2024 if he keeps it up. Got a free blunt? Nice. But anyway, this section, the junior Sanyaku. All the Sekiwake are strong. And one thing to note too is all the Sekiwake are on 19 wins. Which means if they go 14-1, technically they would have the 33-3 Basho in order to get promoted to Ozeki. I don't think that would actually happen, but for someone like Kotonowaka, though, I think they would give him the nod. Because, this is personal bias. I really like Kotonowaka. He did well in March, but dropped the last 3, really missing out on becoming a Sekiwake back then. Went 8-7 afterwards, slumping hard in the middle of the Basho. And then 11-4 last Basho. I really like Kotonowaka. I am so high. I'm very, on the stock market terms, I'm very bullish on Kotonowaka. He's going high. He's going places. Wakamoto Haru, I said that I thought he would be the most likely to attain the 12 wins for Ozeki promotion, but when push came to shove at the very end against the most difficult opponents, he just couldn't get it against Hoshoryu, against Asanoyama. He lost against Kirishima. He dropped a match to Onosho, who I feel like he shouldn't lose that match, you know? So, Wakamoto Haru, stock dropped a little bit, but I think he's still a very solid pick. He's not my favorite, though. I'm not picking him. Daieisho, again, I think he henkaed like twice in the last tournament, plus the Fusen show. Not looking good for him. Dropping 3 in the middle as well. The pressure got to him against Kirishima. Wakamoto Haru loses this match against Tamawashi, which, to be fair, he does not have a good record against Tamawashi, so it's a little understandable. But honestly, like, I'm not high on Daieisho either. But we're not just considering the Sekiwake here. We also have the Komusubi to choose. Now, as much as I love Kotonowaka, I'm a Tobizaru stan. I will follow my monkey man to the ends of the earth. I hope he can get an 8 and 7. I know he's not the best pick. I know he's not the wisest pick, but he's my favorite, and I'm gonna ride or die with Tobizaru. You know it. And across from him, Nishikigi. Like I mentioned earlier, I am still very surprised that he's gonna be in this Basho because of that report we had last week that he tore his calf muscle. I don't know how major of a tear it was. I don't know if maybe that was mistranslated and it was just a something less scary sounding. I don't know. But Nishikigi was very hot to start the last tournament, and I think it was just definitely a flash in the pan. You know, bottled lightning released too quickly and then sputtered out at the end. I don't believe Nishikigi will even get a winning record here, even especially if he's hurt. I would not put my vote on Nishikigi. It's unclear whether it was a tear or a pull. Okay, thank you for the clarification. If it was just a pulled calf, then, you know, that's one thing. You put the heating pad on it, you're good to go. I don't like our yoke, but he shot out of the warpath he laid when he came back last year. Yeah. That's the other thing too. These Ozeki, I envision a universe where one of them wins the Yusho, and then when he comes back against in November, it has to go through Terunofuji, hopefully a fully healthy Terunofuji. Like, he gives them a run for their money. Like, I want to see another Ozeki defeat a Yokozuna for promotion, or even something like when Terunofuji was promoted, they're both 14-0 going into the final day. Like, that would be hype. But that's a tournament ahead of us. I'm already, you know, I would put money on an Ozeki to win. But whatever happens in November, that's way, way out of here. But yes, for this second part, I'm going Tobizaru. You know I am. Everybody knows it. And in this next part here as well, we do have a lot of decent people we could vote for here. A lot of fan favorites like Ura, like I think people might be high on Hokuto Fuji. I thought his 12-3 was kind of a flash in the pan too, because he was able to sustain it more against the lower ranked guys. But if you saw my breakdown that I post on YouTube for Hokuto Fuji, I think I remember saying like he could have been anywhere between like 14-1 and 9-6 with some of the luck he had in some of his matches and some of the unluckiness he had in some of his matches. So like Hokuto Fuji, wild card, historically doesn't usually do well from this high. He was a Komusubi back in March of 2019 and in November of 2019, as well as March of 2020, but that was the last time he was a Komusubi. Ever since then, he's been in these middle ranks just outside of the teens, or the tens rather. So this is his highest rank since May of 2021. This is his highest rank in 2 years. Last time he was up here, he was 6-9. Before that, 7-8, and even coming off of a string of 7-8, 7-8, 7-8, 6-9. This 12-3 just kind of came out of nowhere, and I don't believe he's going to perform that well. So Hokutofuji, definitely not on my bingo card. Meisei, he's very fickle when it comes to how strong he is. He can defeat the Yokozuna and get a gold star, and then he'll lose a stupid match to like Hokuseiho or something, you know? I don't remember if he actually fought Hokuseiho. But I'm not confident in Meisei. He's far from my favorite in this area. Abi, he usually does okay from these ranks. Probably a 9 and 6 maybe. I mean, he fights the same people as he was at Komusubi. And even when he was, you know, forever Komusubi a few years ago, he would get 8 and 7s pretty consistently. So I feel like a winning record is not far out of the wheelhouse for Abi. Asanoyama, I think a lot of people are going to be high on Asanoyama. A lot of people want to see him return to the Sanyaku ranks, want to see him return to Ozeki. And it's not like he's old. It's not like he's, you know, decrepit and ancient and falling apart. But he is a little distant from his prime. He's only 29. Let's be real. I'm only 29 too. But I'm not afraid to admit that I'm not as strong as I used to be. But I mean, he's shown us some good sumo. If he didn't get injured at the last Basho, could probably easily be in that Yusho race at 12 and 3 as well, you know? So you never really know with Asanoyama how he stacks up against the current guys. It's hard for me to say, but I would probably bet on Asanoyama. Shodai, I haven't seen Super Shodai in a long time. I know Kongo will pray that Super Shodai shows up. I don't think he will. Asanoyama hurt his... I did read that. Asanoyama did hurt his toe during the tour. Got that. Teru gets beat by an Ozeki for promotion. He can probably be happy to retire. I know he wants to get 10 Yusho, though, so I think he'll stick with it as long as he can. Or if he gets number 10, then he'll retire after that. Tamawashi, he's another guy that, like, he defies the laws of physics. Like, Tamawashi, that Yusho he had last September, well, he's at the same rank, Maegashira 3, but I don't think he's going to repeat that performance. His performance over this past year has been, like, if he didn't have that 3 and 12, you could call it mid, but that 3 and 12 drags it down to like, that's kind of bad. So I don't really believe Tamawashi is the best pick here. It's not like he's bad, again, but I just don't think he's the strongest pick. Let's see. Takanosho, I want to believe he can return to the Sanyaku himself, but he's way too inconsistent. He is way too, like, his footwork needs so much work. And if I didn't have a gun held to my head by my wife, I wouldn't be picking Takanosho, but you know I have to. Uda, fan favorite. I think this is like the ideal spot for him, because if we look at the Torikumi, we see, you know, day 1 he's fighting Takanosho, another Maegashira 4. On day 2, he's going to be fighting Gonoyama, a Maegashira 5. So he might just be in that sweet spot where he doesn't have to fight the Sanyaku. So if Uda doesn't have to fight the Sanyaku, 9 and 6, easy. 9 and 6, maybe 10 and 5 if he gets lucky. But Uda, I believe he will have a good tournament for Maegashira 4. That's kind of what I meant by, like, this is his peak, where, like, this is his plateau, where this is his spot. Kind of like how Kotoeko, if he goes anywhere above, like, Maegashira 5, he'll get smacked back down. So Kotoeko is very comfortable at Maegashira 8. Uda is kind of the same way, where I believe if he goes above this rank, he's going to get smacked back down. He's gone consistently 7 and 8 the past 2 Basho, but to be fair, in those past 2 Basho, he's had to fight some of the Sanyaku, and we can see 4 straight losses versus the Sanyaku in the middle of the tournament. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4 losses against the Sanyaku in this tournament. If those four losses are against guys ranked lower than him, he can easily get those wins. So Uda, if he doesn't fight the Sanyaku, I vote for him. And from what the Torikumi looks like on these first 2 days, it looks like he might not fight the Sanyaku. He might just be low enough that he doesn't have to do that, which that's really good for him. I would put my money on Uda. Gonoyama now. Gonoyama, very fresh. Whew, I forgot how young he was, or how new he is. This is his highest rank on the Banzuke, 10-5. He was my favorite last tournament to really show up from those lower ranks, but only a 10-5 compared to Hakuoho, who got 11-4. But I have no idea what to expect from him this high up. He has let's see. He is from, university. He has university experience, and he did not have a very tough time coming up the Banzuke in those lower ranks. A bit of a stumble in Judo, but I mean, really caught his stride in Judo. And now in the top division, coming off of a 10-5, again, if he doesn't fight the Sanyaku, I think he might get away with an 8-7, 7-8, somewhere around there. If he does, he's going to be fish out of water, though. If he fights Whole Shoryu, I could see Whole Shoryu just like picking him up like a baby and throwing him out of the ring, I think he's just too green. And I hope he can prove me wrong and go like 14-1 again. And then finally, Shonan no Umi. He is another one of those debutantes. He's 25 years old, the same age as Gonoyama, 25. Oh, wow. They're actually born 1 day after each other. Shonan no Umi is 1 day younger than Gonoyama. That's really funny. April 7th, April 8th. But this is something I noted the last time, too. They've had 2 completely different career paths. Gonoyama went to university, came in at Sandamne 100, and then made it up in July 2023. Shonan no Umi joined sumo at the earliest possible age of 16 and fought his way up the Banzuke, going up and down and up and down and up and down. Like, he was really going through it, until finally he gets up into Judo, and then he flies through Judo. He flew through Judo, compared to Gonoyama, who, 8-7, 6-9, 9-6, 9-6, and then he came into it. Shonan no Umi only took 3 basho in Judo, and even then he went up with an 11-4, and then a 10-5, so now he's right next to him. So Shonan no Umi, I mean, he has more, air quote, professional experience, having to go through all of this since the age of 15, whereas Gonoyama went to college, came up super fast. Like, I really like how these two are such a foil for each other, and like the 2 different ways you can make it in sumo. And, this is getting way ahead of myself, but back when I was researching Terunofuji and I was looking at his charts, he made it up faster, obviously, but he started from the bottom, and even he would have like a bad record every so often, like, sure, this guy was 18 years old and way fish out of water at this point, something like that. But now they're both up here, I'll say the same thing about Shonan no Umi that I did about Gonoyama. If he doesn't have to fight the Sanyaku, I think he'll do fine. Maybe 7-8 is more likely than a winning record, but I want to see both of them succeed. I don't think you can go wrong with picking either of them, because who knows, they could shock us and do something amazing. I don't believe they will, but I would like to see it. So overall, for this section, Maegashira 1 through 5, I think the favorite pick is going to be Asanoyama. Uda, probably second place. Shonan no Umi and Gonoyama after that. And then after that is you're picking your favorite. So, like, I'm picking Takanosho. If he can keep his feet on the damn dohyo, he will win. Shoot. Next section, Maegashira 6 through 10. Let me take a sip of my my grapefruit flavored Taiwan beer. That was $16 for a 6-pack. Don't get me wrong, it tastes really good, but I'll buy Budweiser, like $1. So Ono Show, I've been saying this about him for a long time. Ono Show is usually one of those guys that'll yo-yo up and down the Banzuke, but he's kind of been at the bottom of this yo-yo for a while, and he's not bouncing back up. I don't really have confidence in Ono Show, even if, again, he is 27. He's on the younger end, born on July 4th. Happy America Day. But I just don't really have confidence in Ono Show anymore. Ryuden, his way up the Banzuke looked really nice, and then he got smacked, dude. Was that in the last tournament or like a previous tournament where Ryuden got absolutely bodied? 5 and 10 from Maegashira 10, and then coming back up 10 and 5 up to Maegashira 6. So, I mean, the last time he had a lot of good momentum, and then he just kind of boom, 2 and 13, 5 and 10. Really came back well. 10 matches in a row to end the tournament with that one loss. But I'm hoping for his sake it's not a repeat of what happened last time he was this high on the Banzuke, 2 and 13. But I mean, even before that, 2 9 and 6s in a row. I guess he's just a wild card. No idea how that's gonna go for him. Takayasu, everybody likes some Takayasu. I think Takayasu is gonna be the favorite pick here, but I feel like injured. Playoff loss, injured. Like, I feel like his body, it's just catching up to him at this point, I think. I don't know, like, even at the last tournament, he was fighting injured, and he had to get a Henka in order to stop a losing streak. Like, it's not looking good for your boy, you know? So, I love Takayasu, but I would not put my money on him. Oho, I'm always high on Oho. He's fighting Takayasu that first day. I love Oho. I want to see Oho succeed. He was Whole Shoryu's rival back in high school and college, I think. Someone fact check me on that, please. Get the community notes out. But I'm always high on Oho. I like Oho a lot. I want to see him succeed. I am biased towards Oho. That 6 and 9 at the previous tournament was kind of expected, I think. But now that he has his feet wet against some of the higher ranked guys, I could see another 9 wins. I could see maybe even 10 wins. Anything higher than 10? Probably not. I like Oho here. Kotoeko, this is near his peak, like where he stops feeling comfortable, I think. Because like we were saying about Uda, if he has to fight people higher, like a lot higher than his current rank, he will get smacked. So if he fights dudes around and lower than him, he's not a bad pick. Hirado Umi on this day. Let's see. He was Maegashira 5 last tournament, 5 and 10 out for injury on the final day. 9 and 6 before that from Maegashira 9 and 7. He's also pretty fresh. This is going to be his first full year in the top division, and he peaked at Maegashira 5. That's not bad. He's 23 years old. He's still very young. You forget some of these guys are young. Like, sure, Hirado Umi wasn't one of the super hyped guys to come up, but he's young. He's good. He's not terrible, but he's definitely going to be one of those mainstays in the top division, hopefully for like the next 9-10 years. So I hope for his sake, he doesn't fall into like the Endo or the Terunofuji where, you know, nowadays we don't really expect anything from him kind of thing. I don't really know Hirado Umi that well either. He's one of those guys I haven't really paid attention to, although I should because he's going to be in sumo for like the next 10 years. So I don't really know how to call Hirado Umi. Midorifuji, another fan favorite, going up against Keen Bozan. Again, similar to Ura, except his ceiling seems to be a little bit lower. Similar to Enho in that he has to work harder because he's smaller as well. So hopefully that doesn't hurt him. 5 and 10 from. Oh wait, this is Hirata Umi. Let's see. Peaked at Maegashira 1, not bad, but hasn't really had anything going this year. His best was that Maegashira 5 start 10 and 5, kind of like Nishikigi, and then he starts fighting the Sanyaku and starts losing. Whereas for Nishikigi, it was the opposite. He fought all of the Sanyaku and couldn't stop winning until he finally did. So Midorifuji, again, he could definitely be higher than Maegashira 9. At 4 and 11 from Maegashira 3 and Maegashira 1, like, he does not belong fighting against the Sanyaku. Oh, there's Nightbot. I thought Nightbot wasn't working. I'm mad now. But this is definitely a position where we can see him get 10 wins. Like, he got 10 wins from Maegashira 5 and then lost against the Sanyaku. He could definitely go 10 wins here from Maegashira 9. The last time he was this low, look at that, 10 wins. That was a little over a year ago. So I know people probably don't like seeing him this low on the Banzuke because he's small, he's exciting, he's fun, but he can really thrive down here. He's definitely a really good pick for this part of the Banzuke. Probably my favorite so far. I keep going all the way over there. Hakuoho, out for surgery. Do not pick him. Keen Bozan. I was expecting more from Keen Bozan at the previous tournament, but that's not what we got. But again, he's still on the younger side, the Kazakh, 26 years old. I expected the 4 and 11 from Maegashira 5. Didn't expect the 7 and 8 from Maegashira 10. Expected better, but again, he has his feet wet now. We have to remember this is his first year up in the top division. So, and I mean, he's only been in sumo since November 2021. He's only approaching his full second year as a sumo wrestler. So he still has a lot to get used to up here. And from this position, I think he has another really good shot. And then finally, Endo, who I just personally don't find him exciting. Like, he had one good tournament all the way back in September of 2021 that was pretty exciting. And then at the last one, he was 10 and 5 because he was at the bottom of the Banzuke. Because, I mean, look at his usual average rank is Maegashira 4, Maegashira 6, Maegashira 5. He doesn't belong this low on the Banzuke, but, I mean, winning record probably guaranteed for him. Don't expect him to get a losing record. Definitely a safe pick, but not a very glamorous pick. For me personally, it's hard to choose who I want here. I can tell you who I don't want. And I don't want Onosho, I don't want Takayasu, I don't want Kotoeko. Don't want Ryuden. Endo, again, is a safe pick. Kind of like how Takeda Fuji is usually a safe pick if you want 8 points. But if you ever want 10 points, you got to take a risk on someone else. Endo's the definition of mid these days. I mean, he kind of is. Again, I expect him to get like a 9 and 6, maybe even 10 and 5 from this rank, but I don't want to pick him. I expect him to be the best in this area, but I don't want to pick him. This is tough for me. Because you could realistically roll the dice between Midorifuji, Keen Bozan, Endo, Oho, and if you have a favorite in this section like Takayasu, I mean, even Kotoeko isn't a bad option. There are really no bad options here. Except Hakuoho, because he's out for injury. So, truthfully, if I had to narrow it down to 2, I would say Hirado Umi or Keen Bozan. And I think Keen Bozan is more popular, so I'm going to go with Hirado Umi here. He wasn't even on the list of guys I said I would go for. Hirado Umi, again, not a glamorous pick, but approaching his first full year in the top division. Very young, 23 years old. He could be that wild card. He could be that dark horse. King Bozon. We need to bet on Leo getting better than 500. Listen, man, I may be bad at these games, but it's fun. I can take the lumps. You went with Midori Fuji. Again, not a bad pick. Final picks all the way down here. Mitakeumi, Hokuseiho, Takara Fuji, Sarano Umi, Myogiryu, Nishiki Fuji, Aoyama, Koto Shoho, Atami Fuji, Chiyoshoma, Kageaki, and Tsurugi Sho. I just want it to be known that like the one time I don't pick Aoyama, he actually has a winning record. Because I picked Aoyama back in March. He went 6-9. Tamawashi is 3-12. No, please, last place. Almost top 50 in May though. July I was 5, like in the middle of the pack because over 700 people play this game. So I was top 50%. Screw you guys for making fun of me. I'm ranked Maegashira 16. Takayumi has been soft lately, but he looks so much better in practices, and we all know he doesn't belong down that far. Yeah, no. I think Takayumi is probably the best pick down here because, I mean, former Ozeki, let's be real, that last tournament is a fluke for him. Like, he never should have performed that poorly, and we all know why he performed that poorly. The 4-11 from Maegashira 3, that's like oh damn, he had a bad tournament, but like, you know, he bounced back with that 9-6, and then like, come on, give it to him. His dad passed away. You can't be that harsh on him. I was funny though when I was saying in the commentary that Takayumi is the biggest loser of the tournament, and people were getting really mad at me, and I'm like, guys, it's the literal fact that like he was 2-12. He is the biggest loser. Like, I'm not calling him a loser. I'm saying he has the most losses. He has the biggest loss column out of anyone else. Like, I'm not being an asshole here. I'm not trying to, you know, call him a loser. Like, his dad died. I'm not that mean. But I mean, hopefully he can shake that off. Because, I mean, the loss of a loved one, that can stick with you depending on, you know, your mentality, depending on how close you were to them. And, you know, that's his dad. So, you know, you say he's been looking better in practices. If you have a link, like if there are some of those practices on video anywhere, send them to me so we can watch them later too. But I really hope he can bounce back from that. Yeah, if he doesn't get a Kachi Koshi, I would be surprised. Because this is the lowest point he's been on the Banzuke since his debut in 2016 in the top division. Well, 2015, but you know what I'm saying. And even then, he only fell because he was injured. So, like, we know Takayumi does not belong down here. Then we have Hokuseiho. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Hokuseiho, the big man who way got figured out last tour. Excuse me. Oh, what is going on with my diaphragm? The 5-10 last tournament was very expected. I knew it was coming, and for him to eventually finally be caught flat-footed against better sumo wrestlers, it was going to happen eventually. In his defense, he was over-promoted, an 8-7, shooting him up 5 ranks. Like, that's a little too much. But, you know, Hokuseiho, I'm not very high on him. He's big, he's powerful, he's a decent sumo wrestler. Like, I posted that video of, you know, American Sumo, the tournament I went to last weekend, and there were a lot of people ripping on those guys in the comments, but let's be real, Hokuseiho looks worse than that. Like, if you guys want to rip on the American sumo wrestlers for not looking good in the ring, talk about Hokuseiho first. Like, I'm harsh on him because I want him to be better. I'm very harsh on Hokuseiho because I want him to stop looking so lazy in the ring. Because if he moves, if he can use his strength properly, he's Yokozuna. Like, just his size alone, his strength alone can get him to the Sanyaku. If he puts more time and effort into either perfecting his weird style or trying to find a better style, he's Yokozuna for sure. I want to see him get there. Is Hokuseiho the guy who leans on people with one arm? Yes, that is him. And that's why Terunofuji is 2-0 against Hokuseiho, because Terunofuji is an old veteran, and this is a good way to transition into Terunofuji. Terunofuji is a solid veteran, been in sumo for a billion years. He is actually going to be moving up in the record books for the most consecutive matches in the top division. I mean, look at this. He hasn't missed a goddamn day. Actually, has he ever been injured? Are we looking at Tamawashi's charts here? Like, yeah, the only reason why, yeah, wow, holy cow. He's an Iron Man too. Like, Terunofuji, smart. He's a smart sumo wrestler. He's not the strongest, which is why he doesn't get higher on the Banzuke anymore, but he's a very smart, he's very tough, and, you know, his stamina is waning, his strength is waning, but he could still beat Hokuseiho. And Terunofuji, this matchup on day one, if he doesn't start off 1-0, I'll be surprised. And if he doesn't start off 1-0, he's probably going to get a losing record, which I don't want to see for him. I like Terunofuji a lot because he's he's the perfect example that I would show. Like, if I was showing someone sumo for the first time, I would show them a Terunofuji match, because in those like Yokozuna matches, it gets really technical, gets really slow, measured, and it's like, it kind of shows that sumo is more than just two fat guys slamming into each other. You know? That's why I like Terunofuji. Would I vote for him here, though? Maybe. Maybe. Then we have Sadano Umi across from him on the Banzuke, also 36 years old. Sadano Umi, he had something good last year, May. At 11-4 surprise June Yusho from Maegashira 12, but that was mostly a symptom of, you know, just being against lower division guys. And even then, from these middle ranks, he's been okay. Like, not double-digit losses from Maegashira 4. I'd call that a win. Wait. Right. I was gonna say, wait, did he not go up a rank with an 8-7? But there's the way the ranks probably fell. Like, he probably did move up a rank, but someone else dropped from Komusubi or something. I don't know. That just looks funny. Anyway, from this low on the Banzuke, I don't think he's getting another 11-4, but he's similar to Terunofuji in that, like, he's just one of those old veterans that you don't know if he's ever going to win or lose, because he's smart, he's tough, and you don't know what to expect. Like, Sadano Umi could go 11-4, could go 4-11. I wouldn't vote for him, but if you do vote for him, good on you. Then we have Myogiryu, Myogiryu, Maegashira 13 East. Same thing about him that you can say for the other two guys I just mentioned. Except he does seem to be dropping off a little bit harder than the other two guys. Like a 5-10 from Maegashira 10 from Myogiryu. That doesn't seem very good. But then again, like 11-4 June Yusho for him back in September from the same position, Sadano Umi-esque. I don't think he's going to get 9 wins, honestly. I don't think he's going to get 9 from this rank. Maybe 8, more likely 7. I would put more money on 7 than 8, and more money on 8 than any other number. I wouldn't vote for Myogiryu here. That brings us to Nishikifuji. Maegashira 13 West, 27 years old, on the younger end. on a very far down the Banzuke journey. He is going into his second year of the top division. And again, he's one of those guys that did have to work his way up the Banzuke, but he came out of college. Yeah, Kinki University. So kind of expected to see him up here. But I gotta say, I haven't been impressed with him. And even with that 10-5 from Maegashira 10, like, he's the big yo-yo. Like, I talk about Hokuto Fuji and Onosho being yo-yos up and down. Like, look at this. 4-11 from Maegashira 4 all the way back down to Maegashira 10. Bounces all the way back up to Maegashira 3, falls all the way back down to Maegashira 13. He's going to bounce back up to Maegashira 1, fall all the way back down to Maegashira 16. And that means he's going to become Yokozuna. So, this is a good position to put money on him. This is a good position to vote for him. Probably going to get 10 wins. More likely 9, I think. Again, one of those guys that I don't pay too much attention to because there's so many more exciting guys, not to be too insulting, but definitely consider voting for Nishiki Fuji. Aoyama, I love him, but that 9-6 kind of came out of nowhere. I don't think he's much longer for the top division, but then again, I said that about Tochinoshin for like 2 years. I'm not super high on Aoyama. I like him, though. I'll give him that. But I wouldn't put my money on him. Across from him, Koto Shoho. Again, very young, 24 years old. Made it up to the top division probably a little too quickly. Because now it's 2 years since his peak at Maegashira 3. He had that ankle injury. Fought down in Judio for a little while. And now he's back up here. He was injured that 2-10. Came back with a 7-8. And hopefully whatever has been bothering him is finally fixed by now, because if it isn't, then it's going to be a problem. He should be getting a winning record from down here. How big it is, I couldn't tell you. Tochinoshin will be fighting Enho on day 1. Aoyama feels like he phones it in. Yeah, it's like, it looks like sometimes he just doesn't feel like it. Like, he doesn't want to get hurt, so he doesn't put up too much resistance. But if he can like get the ball rolling, then he will go hard. Final 4 days of the Basho are when I planned a while ago to visit a monastery. Why am I like this? Why would you visit a monastery? You can get the beer the monks make just down at the corner store. But yeah, Koto Shoho, I believe he's going to get a winning record. Why is it always an 11-4 June Yu show? Will it be another 11-4? Maybe. I want to believe he will get another 11-4. Probably my favorite to pick down here. Atami Fuji. Nope, this is my real favorite to pick down here. I love Atami Fuji. 21 years old. The youngest in the top division. Again, I like him a lot. He's coming off of a 13-2 and 11-4. Last time he was up here, though, yowza, yikes, 4-11. But a little bit more time to marinate down in the lower divisions, or lower division, Judio. Was injured back in January. I really hope he can come back with some fire under his ass. He trains against a lot of other top division guys, like Midori Fuji, like Nishiki Fuji, like, Terunofuji. So I really hope he can come into his own. And even if he can't, he has a lot of time ahead of him. He's 21 years old. Like, we see the maximum age of some of these other guys up here in the top division. Like, if he has a Tamawashi-esque career, he's going to be around for another decade and a half. We're going to be hearing about Atami Fuji, and I'm going to have a fan towel that's 13 years old by the time he retires, So I really want him to come into his own. I may be pushing for him to do that a little too soon. Like, he might end up like one of the other debutantes where, he went up to Maegashira 5 and then smacked back down with a 2-13, which I wouldn't want to see him do that. Maybe take a more Oho-esque approach where it's a slow rise up. But I really like Atami Fuji. I want to see him succeed. He's my favorite for this section. Chiyoshoma, you can never count him out. You can never count out Chiyoshoma. Look at how skinny he was here. Still got that look in his eyes, though. Chiyoshoma, wild card. Is he going to go 5-10 or is he going to go 5-10? Who knows? But he'll definitely put on some good matches down here to start off the night. It's like when in WWE, their opening match is like something exciting, and then they'll put on like 3 boring promos in a row. You can go to the bathroom and get some snacks, and then you come back for the main event. Chiyoshoma's the exciting opener. he's the cruiserweights that always go on first. They're high flying, super cool to watch, but nobody really cares. I like Chiyoshoma though. Kongo likes him too. I wouldn't vote for him though. Kageaki, I feel the same way about him that I do Aoyama. I just don't really like Kageaki. He's probably my least favorite sumo wrestler on the Banzuke right now. It's kind of saying something when there are other guys on here that I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot he existed. I'll give him the respect of diving a little deeper though. He is also coming back from Judio, 9-6 from Judio 1, 7-8 from Maegashira 17 last time, 7-8 from 12, 5-10 from 12. Like, I don't know what his deal is, considering he was better back in 2019, and even though very slow fall, like, oh my goodness, almost a year and a half straight of losing records, and he went from Maegashira 3 to Maegashira 14. But that's kind of part of the problem too, is like, I don't think his sumo is very impressive. Like, sure, he might be better than some of the other guys around him, but Tsurugisho. I liked Tsurugisho. I don't know what it is about him, but I like him. I know like 2 or so years ago he was struggling with elbow injury. You can kind of see that again here, July 2022. But or maybe that was last year and I'm just mixing up my timeline a bit. But Tsurugisho's big bellied dude, decent Yotsuzumo. I like to watch him do sumo. He's not very good, and it seems like his peak is Maegashira 14, which is not very high on the Banzuke, so you can almost bet on him going back down to Judio, unfortunately. But that's Tsurugisho. And then finally, Dai Shoho. Oh, hello, bear. Dai Shoho. Been on that slow fall. Came up with a 12-3 from Judio 6. And then slow fall back down the Banzuke. 8-7, 6-9, 6-9. I don't believe he's going to get a very good winning record. Maybe 8-7. Very far fringe 9-6 if he's lucky. But I wouldn't put too much stock in Dai Shoho either. So overall, again, my favorite pick, Atami Fuji. I think everyone else's favorite pick is going to be Mitake Yumi, but this is me putting a lot of faith in him growing through his inexperience. Same thing with, Hirado Umi. But this is probably going to be my final Kachi clash. If I were a smarter man, I wouldn't be picking Tobizaru. I'd be picking Kotonowaka. But I think I'd call Kotonowaka my second favorite. I like him a lot. And I want to see Kotozakura. Oh, it was funny, too, because I was... Oh, you're heading over to watch the last 2 days? Nice. Hope you have fun, dude. Send pictures. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh, I was showing my fiance, Princess, videos of Kotonowaka when he was a kid. And she's like, oh, who is that? Pointing to, the bigger dude, the bigger sumo wrestler. And I'm like, well, if you know who the little one is, you'll know who the big one is. And she's looking at him. She's like, I don't know who that is. I'm like, well, I guess she doesn't watch sumo enough. But we will be seeing more of her, though. Hopefully. But I told her, that's Kotonowaka. She's like, oh, and who's that? That's Kotonowaka. Like, they're both Kotonowaka? I'm like, yeah. know what their grandpa's name is? Kotozakura. So I had to explain that to her a bit. But I like Kotonowaka a lot. I think the ideal picks here, like if you're going to win, if you're trying to win, you would pick Hoshoryu, Kotonowaka, Asanoyama, or Ura. I'd probably lean more towards Asanoyama than Ura. And then roll the dice for the bottom two. Honestly, couldn't tell you. But don't pick like I do. Don't pick your favorites. Pick the guys who are gonna win, so people don't make fun of you for having a last place scoreline. So, as far as it goes on the YouTube side, that is gonna be it for this stream. Ooh, excuse me. That is going to be it for this stream. We will be continuing over on the Twitch side, where I will open up this pack of sumo cards. Again, I bought my sumo cards, or my sumo stuff for the raffle I do over on Twitch. So if you want to join the raffle and you want to know more about that, head on over to the Twitch. But I will be opening up this pack of sumo cards, and we will be watching a bunch of videos like the ring purification ceremony, which was just filmed live an hour ago, and a bunch of these other videos that they show on the Sumo Association official YouTube. We won't be watching them here on YouTube because then I would actually get a copyright strike. I'm not Hassan. I can't just play a YouTube channel and then let it ride while I go make a snack for 30 minutes. I gotta actually be careful about what I do over here. Sorry, Lunar Griffin. But if you want to know about my picks for the Banzuke and for the Kanchi Clash, you can rewatch the VOD. YouTube, I will see you tomorrow. And if you do want to join us over on Twitch, let's see if Nightbot is working. There it is. You can go and click on that link. Are you in like full sweater gear? It's not winter. Alrighty, so thank you very much for watching YouTube. We will continue the party over on Twitch while we chill and watch some videos.